This is a good one. I'm excited about this. I love this, the whole concept of a retailer producing their own goods.
Yeah.
It comes to you this week as the retail question, but we also happen to have a story that just goes perfectly with it. These 5 myths and facts about private label products. So take us away. Roll it all into one for us, Ben.
So I'll try to package it up. This was my favorite headline from last week. It was one of the topics that I saved this article from last week because I got this question from Catherine in Vancouver. And Catherine says, hi, Dan, I have a ladies' art-to-wear store in Gastown and would love some ideas on producing my own goods. Thank you so much. So Gastown, little neighborhood inside City of Van. And Catherine is really looking for opportunities to perhaps produce her own goods. And there are really 2 ways, Rob, for retailers to represent their own goods. Number 1 is this direct manufacturing. Number 2 is to private label goods. And the latter, private labeling goods, really means sewing your label into already produced goods. This might, in fact, be the best option for entrance to market with your own branded products. So I'm going to use this article that was in entrepreneur.com, written by Steve Tan. Man, oh man, this guy did a great job. And we're going to use this article as a bit of a springboard for this topic. The private label business has been around, or model has been around for decades. And just as business trends have shifted due to technology changes, economic changes in consumer behavior, private labeling has also evolved, especially in the last 15 months. And Steve shared his 5 myths about private labeling goods. So I'm gonna do my best to regurgitate those myths for you, and then we can maybe springboard a little bit from there. So his myth number 1: all private labels are inferior in quality. And though this claim used to have some basis, it doesn't hold true for all private label brands. Gone are the days when knockoffs comprised of most of the private label goods sold in physical and digital stores. Today, high quality and premium private labels are a trend. Additionally, because consumers are now more conscious of their buying decision, most private label distributors have become more conscious of the quality in their offering, even if it means sourcing higher cost goods. So the fact here, most private label products have pretty decent quality. In fact, I'm going to say impressive quality. In some cases, they can be of comparable caliber to large national brands. And so, yes, let's not allow this to sort of sugarcoat what we're talking about here. There's lots of shit out there in the market, and cautiously add your brand to some of that shit. Really, we've got to do our homework. We've got to look for the brands. It's not about high margin, low quality, right? You get what you pay for.
Yeah.
It's about going after a private label brand that complements who and what you are, and ensuring that quality is complementary, not deteriorating to your brand.
Yep.
So Steve's myth number 2, private label products are cheaper than their national brand counterparts. Well, private label brands usually spend less on manufacturing, less on marketing, which is why they keep their prices to a minimum.
Yep.
But I'm going to say this, some private label products aren't super affordable. Private label, again, is adding our brand to already produced goods, right? This will include items, as Steve noted, this will include items that have undergone rigorous customizations or made with premium material, right? Naturally, that resulting in a higher price point. So the fact is here, not all private label products are cheap. Some brands are really stepping up their game so they can price their products more competitively in the brand arena.
Sounds like there's a lot of choice too, like for the retailer to well, how do you want to position it? Do you want
Right.
to position it as premium, or do you want to position it as discount to make
Well,
your other
yeah.
lines look better?
And all of that is available. And I coach my retailers on utilizing things like San Pedro Mart. We'll talk about that a little bit here in this article as we roll through. But using that San Pedro or margin markets to complement what you're already doing, to fill in some gaps around what you're doing. But that's not really what private labeling is. I mean, private labeling is going and sourcing product from a vendor, from a distributor, and putting your name on it. Now, it's a little bit different than just relabeling offshore or Korean market goods or, Chinese manufactured goods. There's more to this.
Okay.
And furniture stores, Rob, furniture stores have done a fabulous job of private labeling high quality products over the years. Lots and lots of vendors are completely open to a private label relationship where they're producing a collection or a line that's exclusively yours. It's branded you. It's Dan by, Highland House.
And I'm sure it does a hell of a job of dodging that comparative shopper out there. Where
of course.
This is my brand. No one else has it.
This is really, I think Catherine has heard me talk about this for a long time. You stop pissing and moaning about Z Supply or Free People or, Autumn Cat. Stop crying, about Spiritual Gangster selling to every frickin' street every store on the corner, on the street. Figure out your own stuff. Let's get together with these guys. Look at how many stores you can buy a pair of Levi's jeans in your little catchment area.
Yeah.
How available is it? Well, those products aren't any different when we get into the fashion stores. They are everywhere. Right now, I mean, there are 5 stores within a half a liter of fuel of my house that sell the exact same ladies' products. Like, it's crazy. And private labeling, creating your own brand, your own persona, allows you to step outside that messy arena, messy, competitive arena where you're spending 3/4 of your time worrying about what Susie down the street is doing instead of working on your own business. And private labeling, creating your own brand, your own products, allows you to steer some of that energy in a healthier direction. Now, we'll talk about, I think Steve's myth number 5 is important to know. But let's just do myth number 3. Only big retailers can sell private label goods. This is just not the case anymore. That is absolutely a myth. While there are still large-scale manufacturers that only accept big bulk orders from big retailers, more manufacturers are teaming up with small retailers to produce goods in small batches. Small scale production can actually have plenty of benefits. For one, small scale manufacturing or production allows the manufacturer to use superior products, or material without the risk of him sitting on a bunch of dead stock that's not moving. For the retailer, they can position their products as limited editions and maybe price them at a premium. The fact is, more and more manufacturers want to work with small retailers these days.
Awesome.
Steve's number 4, private labeling requires orders of large quantities. Mass production is a common method used by private label manufacturers. But as we mentioned in myth number 3, the shift in behavior, is giving manufacturers this ability to decrease their minimum order quantities. MOQ is a term you'll see riddled throughout, the private label world. Plus, the growing number of business owners opting for the drop shipping model. Let's define that. Drop shipping is when I showcase a product and the vendor fulfills it for me. So I don't actually secure the inventory ahead of it selling. There are lots of examples of drop shipping going on where a retailer is showcasing product in or on her store without actually having the inventory. So the benefit to that drop shipping model, some of those suppliers don't impose any MOQs or any minimum order requirements. And drop shippers only invest, a little more in customizing the product customizing packaging, and they run their business without the risk of surplus inventory, right? Too often we spend a lot of energy, Rob, talking about our cost of goods instead of our cash margin, right? We're misguided when we talk about cost of goods sold. It's a calculated number. It's a bullshit number. We need to focus more on what our cash margin is, or our cost of purchase. How much is it costing me to buy that inventory? And then what sales can I generate from it, instead of what's my gross margin on a sold item, right? Let's look at cost of purchase or cash margin that looks at all the inventory you buy. And this idea of perhaps having a drop shipping relationship with someone might mean I don't have to invest as much into the inventory, so I can up the quality game. So fact, here's Steve's fact. Some private label manufacturers accept smaller order volumes. Others also are accommodating drop shipping setup where you pay for products after they're sold. So that's myth number 4, out the door. Number 5, his last one. Every business will reap more benefits when they switch to private labeling. As appealing as private labeling can be, it isn't the best setup for everyone. Retailers have to consider the significant amount of work and resources that go into creating, a capsule collection or a private label setting or private label collection, especially now with this ever-expanding range of products in the market. We've got to maintain a very robust marketing strategy and aim for product differentiation to ensure survival. So the fact here is, while I'm a huge proponent in producing your own goods, it doesn't guarantee huge profit. As with any, part of retail, it takes a good amount of resource and expertise to yield retail success in private labeling. So for Catherine, I really urged her to head to Vegas Market in August, spend some time with me at sourcing. Let's walk the floor together, get a sense of the current offerings, and begin to build this knowledge base to take her first leap. One of the other sort of dip your toes in the water options is what I talked about earlier. The San Pedro wholesale market has tons and tons and tons of options for ladies' wear stores in about every single category. So you jump on an airplane and you head to, LA. Nothing wrong with hanging out in Long Beach for a couple of days. The virus is gone. We can all sort of swing freely here. Let's get down to Long Point, cruise through San Pedro, get a sense of what's available in the market and what products align with me. If you're that person that's spending all your time on, Fair, Fashion Go, or LA Showroom, you're not touching and feeling the product. You can't speak to its quality. So here's my tip for those that are travel adverse, risk adverse to travel right now. They're just not traveling. Buy small packs out of LA Showroom or Fashion Go or San Pedro Mart. Buy small quantities. Get it in your store. Don't worry about relabeling it. Take it home, wash it, wear it, and decide, does this product fit me? And then say, hey, yeah, this is good for me. Now, how do I go about relabeling these private goods? And then send me an email, dan@thewealthyretailer.com, and I'll connect you with our label house and consolidator for shipping to help you.
Yeah. Right on. That line from a couple of weeks ago jumps back in my head of the vanilla being the most popular ice cream flavor, but no one will drive across town for it.
Right.
When you talk about a private labeling, not necessarily driving all of the benefits, the revenue. However, I think it will create that they'll drive across town for it, but you better damn well have vanilla too.
You've got to have a blend. You've got to have 32 flavors, right? Because it fits everybody. It's the Baskin Robbins approach. There's not an ice cream flavor we don't have, It's not the scoop and roll. Here's 3 kinds of ice cream that I'm going to roll up and toss some candy in it for you. It's the original Baskin Robbins strategy. You do have something that fits every one of your audience. Not every audience member, not every consumer, but your consumer, which does include some of that more vanilla product. But Rob, it also means, if she's going to drive across town for it, you've got to do a really good job marketing it. You've got to become an influencer of your own product.
when you
And
look
too
at these
many of us
opportunities,
are not trying to do that.
it is this mostly a marketing play in your opinion, Dan, or it's a bit about like there's money to be made here?
100% there's money to be made. Marketing supports what we do, right? It in some cases perhaps leads some activity in our store, but it is the support mechanism, right? It is what holds our brand up, all that marketing effort.
Yeah.
Right? It is, okay, so just pay attention. I'm going to give you some marketing tips here, Rob.
I'm listening.
This is really about awareness. Right? We're not really, we start to engage her and convert her once we've made them aware that we've got this brand, right? And putting that brand out there. Listen, nobody knows, how difficult it is to launch a brand than yours truly, with the kids and Twig and Berries. We're launching our own products. We're not, we're using third-party products to help support the who we are, but it's our own products that are driving our market, and it takes work. It takes a lot of effort to get people to throw on a pair of nutsack underwear.
Yeah. Right on. I bet this bit here, Dan, has sparked a whole bunch of questions that people might have for you. So if they have a question for you on this specific topic, or just as good, another question for a future episode, what's the best way to connect with you? Just
shoot me an email at dan@thewealthyretailer.com. On this private label thing, I am going to, right now, things might change, but right now I'm booked in Vegas. I'm going to be there for Magic. I'm going to spend a couple of days at sourcing. So if you want to come and get an introduction to sourcing, I'll be there. Just again, shoot me that email, dan@thewealthyretailer.com. Any question you have, well beyond producing your own goods or private labeling or creating vendor relationships, any question at all, just fire over to dan@thewealthyretailer.com and we'll knock on it for you straight away.